Okay, let's talk about a huge shift that just happened. A real tectonic plate movement between the world of crypto and the US banking system, with XRP right at the center of it all. Seriously, this isn't just some headline you scroll past. It's a fundamental change. So today, we're going to break down exactly what this means for all the active XRPL participants out there. Let's get into it. So let's just get the biggest piece of news out of the way first. Ripple has officially received conditional approval for a national bank charter. This is absolutely massive. It means Ripple is now, for all intents and purposes, officially plugged into the US federal banking system. And in this explainer, we're going to look right past the day-to-day price charts and really dig into what this actually means in the real world. We're going to focus on what this means for you, the people who are actively building and using the XRP Ledger, not just holding and hoping. All right, first up, Ripple's US bank charter. What does this actually mean? Let's break down what Ripple got and why it's such a game changer. Okay, so what Ripple got is a charter for a national trust bank. And this isn't your typical neighborhood bank, It's not going to be doing car loans or checking accounts. Instead, its whole reason for existing is to handle custody and asset management with all the trust and compliance that big institutions demand. This is the key they've needed. And having this charter unlocks some incredible advantages. First off, Ripple can now operate across the entire country under one set of federal rules. No more going state by state, which is a total nightmare. Second, having federal oversight gives them a level of credibility that is just off the charts for other banks. Third, they can now offer regulated in-house custody of digital assets, which is a huge deal. And finally, all of this allows for way deeper, way faster integration with the traditional financial system. And Ripple's CEO, Brad Garlinghouse, put it perfectly. He said, Ripple has actively chosen to meet OCC-level banking standards, exposing the narrative of uneven regulation as largely anti-competitive. So what he's saying is, they aren't running from regulation, they're running towards it. And that's how you build real, lasting trust. Now, it's really important to zoom out for a second, because this bank charter didn't just happen in a vacuum. It's actually part of a much bigger pattern, a regulatory green light that's been quietly turning on for a while now. And a huge piece of this puzzle is something called a riskless principal transaction. Now, stick with me here, because this is cool. It's basically a way for a bank to act as a middleman. It buys and sells an asset for a client at the exact same time, which means the bank itself takes on zero market risk. It's just facilitating the transfer. And that right there is the golden ticket. By okaying these kinds of transactions, regulators have basically handed US banks a playbook. They're saying, hey, you can use these incredible new technologies, like the XRP Ledger, for settlement, and you don't have to worry about the speculative risk of holding the asset. So this is the big question, right? With all this new clarity from regulators, what does it actually mean for people like you, the ones who want to do more than just buy an asset and hope for the price to go up? Well, it changes everything. This kind of clarity completely flips the script. It rewards active participation over just passive speculation. It rewards people who are focused on self-custody and actually using the XRPL. The smartest participants are seeing this, and they're accumulating by introducing others to this very same journey, creating infinite tip streams instead of just sitting around waiting for a price pump. And that leads us to this really crucial idea of financial plumbing. We need to talk about why these behind-the-scenes infrastructure moves are so much more important than the noisy price charts you see every day. The financial commentator Kamala Stevenson explained the economics of this so well. Here's what she said. Collateral assets get locked, not traded. When supply tightens and demand starts rising, price doesn't have a choice. It must adjust upward over time. So let's really unpack the power of XRP becoming institutional collateral. First, any XRP being used as collateral gets locked up. It's taken off the open market, which tightens the supply. Second, these trillion-dollar markets, they need high-value assets to work. It forces a higher valuation. And third, and this is huge, institutions can now officially put XRP on their balance sheets, lend it out, and build brand new products with it. And to really hammer this idea home, Kamala also said this. This was not a price story. This was a plumbing story. Plumbing always moves before price. Think about that. The pipes are being connected right now, while everyone else is still staring at the weather report. So when you put it all together, the bank charter, the regulatory green lights, this financial plumbing being built, it all points in one direction, a massive shift toward real-world utility. This really is a brand new era for active XRPL participants. you can really see the whole paradigm changing. The old way, that was all about passive holding, speculating on price, and being totally dependent on exchanges. But the new way? It's all about active participation, focusing on utility and accumulation, taking control with self-custody, and actually building value by educating others. And that's really the core takeaway here. This is not about trying to time the market anymore. This is about understanding and building real value on these new financial rails that are being laid down as we speak. And for anyone who's getting excited about this shift to active participation, communities like the XRP Tip Team are being built for this exact moment. It's a place for people to learn and grow together. In fact, XRP Tip Team members use the Xaman Wallet exclusively, simply because it handles everything you need for self-custody and active use all in one easy-to-learn wallet. So I'll just leave you with this one final thought to chew on. Now that we know for a fact that the plumbing is connected directly to the US banking system, what do you think is going to happen when those institutions finally decide to turn on the faucet? If you're interested in being part of this new wave of active participation and you want to learn more, there's a growing community you should really explore. The XRP Tip Team is building it, and you can check them out at xrptipteam.com.